I'm sure that the term irony poisoning is like something y'all have, noticed. Do you think that people coming from that end of like, oh, I'm very edgy, or, like, how long do folks like that tend to last?
It depends on kind of how smart they are. Not shit. I didn't mean to make it sound like they're like stupid or something if they're doing the wrong thing.
Self-aware might be better.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Self-aware.
Yeah.
Because like
they can recognize if they're actually bad at it and not
right.
So a lot of people just like don't. Is like some people, and I mean some people get different stuff out of comedy. So you'll see people who are like go up and do stuff that's edgy that the crowd doesn't respond well to, which like most crowds don't. Most crowds don't respond to like super edgy stuff. Often you will like kill the crowd for the rest of the show. It'll like fuck up the vibes.
Oh my god, yes.
It's like you don't just bomb, like the couple comics after you will bomb because everyone is like really uncomfortable. But like some people also get different stuff out of it. Like they make friends in the comedy scene. So they're not necessarily just continuing to do comedy to get better at comedy or advance in comedy. It's just like, this is where I go to hang out with my friends. So like even when they're not getting a lot of good responses from the audience, they'll be like, but everybody dapped me up afterward. And
also,
thanks for coming out.
I think it's also like it's something that you do whenever like you don't know yourself a whole lot, is you'll just like go for edgier stuff because you're like, I don't know what is funny about my life. It has to do with the self-reflection thing that Joey was saying. Because like even myself, like whenever I started out, I said way edgier stuff than I do now. Just because like I know myself and I know like what I'm willing to say and what I'm comfortable saying and even like repercussions. I've had like a couple of times where people had like very honest conversations with me, and you're able to learn from, if you learn from that kind of stuff, then you'll get over it. But if you're not, yeah, it really depends on what you're getting out of it. Because if you actually think you're really funny and you're just doing that over and over again, eventually you're going to get burned out and stop.
To me, there's also a difference between just making generally edgy jokes and making edgy jokes that come from self-observation and from your own life. I mean, y'all saw me when I was up there. Like, the one joke that always interrupts everybody, like always catches everyone off guard, is when I just end up screaming a slur. But it's part of, it's something that, it was a situation that I dealt with. And so it's reflecting upon my life and dealing with shit that I've been through and is an experience that I can tell. So like, yeah, it's edgy, but it's like, and you want to talk about edgy jokes, Riley has a really edgy joke about mental health that I absolutely fucking love.
I have many edgy jokes about mental health because I hate myself so much that why don't I show it to the world? No, with the edgy joke things, it's so there's edgy for the sake of edgy, like Glitterbomb said. There's also they watch some of these comedians who are like Chappelle's and the Ricky Gervais's and all these other people, and they think they can do that, but they can't, because you're doing 5 minutes. You want to be entertaining for 5 minutes, not tell them about the most terrible thing going on. Like I had a problem with my mental health jokes when halfway through my first year, because I was just it was just mental health joke, psych ward joke, mental health joke, joke of just like, are you okay? Like, is there a problem? Yeah. I'm like, do you need to be Baker acted? I'm like, no, I'm good, I'm fine. So it's a learning process. I mean, you have to be a good comedian, you have to be willing to learn and take certain punches from your comedy. Like sometimes, like you have to grow and also what to Charles's point of self-reflection, you need to have a self-reflection of that. I have a buddy of mine in comedy. I'm not gonna say his name, but he doesn't. He does like up until recently didn't. He was edgy for the sake of edgy. Now he has reflection upon himself, like, oh, I'm finding things funny from my life that are funny. Maybe other people will find it funny, and I mean, just like I don't know, it's weird.
Also, I think we can make like a distinction in edgy and like the kind of edgy that we're talking about is mostly like the kind of edge that I'm talking about mostly whenever I'm talking about edgy people is like the anti-PC people who just like go up and try to antagonize people and stuff. That is more what I mean whenever I'm saying edgy.
Yeah, I think one way to kind of define it, or what we're kind of talking about is like telling your own story versus like telling what you think someone else's story is. And I think it's kind of the difference between like, I'm going to go up and talk about, or I'm going to go up and like say the most fucked up thing that happened to me, right? And that might be shocking or edgy or upset people, but people are going to understand. Versus, I'm going to go up and say the most fucked up thing I can think of, right? Which is like a wildly different thing than talking about your own experience. Because like, I don't do a ton of edgy jokes anymore. I did when I first started, and it was very much in the second category of saying the most fucked up thing I can think of. And I like learned that's just like not a good path. And now I like sometimes I find I don't realize I'm saying. It's things that I don't think of as edgy, and I mean they are sort of a different category than what we're talking about. But like, I'll do jokes about like shoplifting. I do a lot of jokes about shoplifting that are pro shoplifting, and
what's your best pro shoplifting joke?
I have a joke that I do that like I gotta say this is not a real recommendation. It's kind of for the joke. It's kind of an urban legend, but anyway, it's about like Target's loss prevention, not arresting you for shoplifting until you hit like a felony level. So they'll like track you until you hit $500 worth of shit you stole. So it's like good news. There's $499 worth of free shit with your name on it at Target. You know, it's like I look at my bank account and be like, oh man, I don't have any money. Oh, but I still got $300 on my felony at Target. So like, I can bring some dip to the party or whatever. You know,
a buddy of mine who also does comedy, who shoplifted, actually said that is true. That's a true thing where they would have you, they'll track you until you hit that felony level, then you go to jail.
Right. The reason I don't recommend it is because there are stores that just don't track you that are just free to steal from. Like steal from Walmart. If you do it well enough, they don't
hypothetically.
They don't have like a permanent record.
Go to a place that really that doesn't really give a fuck. Like
yeah. Like there are a lot of cameras at Walmart, but no one watching them. So like whatever.
It's the age of COVID. Park around the street, wear your mask.
Paying cash.
A lot
I
of
thought about doing that so many times because I'm a terrible person.
A lot of the edgier stuff, though, and the way that we're talking about it, I think comes from kind of what we were learning. Like I rewatched a video that I haven't watched in like 8.5 years, like since like the very first time I started doing comedy, which was a video of what's that dude? Joey? Why am I blanking on his name?
Joe Rogan? I don't know.
No, he was a very large guy out of Texas.
Joey Diaz.
No, not Joey Diaz.
Is it a person we know personally?
He's dead. He died kind of recently.
Oh, Ralphie May.
Yeah, Ralphie May. Where like the intro is like fine, like the first like hour of it, you know, like it's not fine, but it's like it was made like a decade ago. It reads like something that was made like a decade ago. And then like you get to the last like 45 minutes and then it basically just starts going into like the best thing you can do in comedy is be able to say like the N-word and not have people get offended. And that's like, no, that's like an actual thing that like a lot of comics felt like the entire time whenever I first started doing comedy, and even before that, is that like, and I mean, like, it's out of fashion now.
Do they think
but-
they can't be funny unless they're able to say it? Because that says a lot about them more than anything.
It's like the holy grail for them, like the way they
Right.
talk about it.
Yeah, it's like, can you not write a joke without it?
It almost like, and I mean, like you don't really hear this anymore. Like I mean, not to say no one does this anymore. You will see it at open mics from time to time, but it's not like a prevalent thing that like a lot of big comics are trying to do anymore. But like, I mean, there was a bunch of specials where like fucking Louis CK, not that he's like some paragon of how you should fucking carry on with your life, but like he did that in specials before and didn't get fucking canceled over that. Even comics I fucking like David Cross did it in a special. I think Zach Galifianakis did it in a fucking special. Wasn't cool at the time and has aged even worse. But I think it was like seen as some kind of accomplishment that you were able to get away with it. I don't know.
Yeah. So you were able to like.
The logic is very hard to follow. Honestly,
yeah.
but
No, I think the logic for them is basically like you can say literally anything you want as long as it's funny. So if you can find the thing that you cannot say, find a way to make it funny, and then that is like the best thing that you can do. It doesn't make any sense. It's nonsensical and it's fucking weird. But I was just bringing it up because that's like the people that we were all learning from.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is like,
yeah, when you first start, you try and find the where's the tutorial for this comedy thing?
Yeah.
So you like try and find like a comedian who's going to explain their ins and outs and the right way to do comedy to you. So.
Yeah, it's like that first 6 months to a year where you're like you're kind of mimicking, and then like not using their jokes, but you're kind of like making that style and trying to find your groove in yourself. And a lot of people choose some fucked up people to like for their like quote unquote mentor, like Louis CK. I'm like,
yeah,
like my group of friends loves Louis CK. I'm like, come on. Like, and they would rag on me for the comedians that I liked. I'm like, I'm sorry that I liked Gabriel Iglesias. Leave me alone.
Hello, this is David Lieberhart.
And Jason the J-Cat.
Please join Crew Day Maine and the Center for Stateless Society.
For Crew Day Crawl.
A week-long
Anarchist Book Fair.
and Mardi Gras
Festival.
in St. Tammany,
County.
Louisiana. There'll be live podcast
Music.
and a pump drag.
So much.
Visit our website, crewdaygra,
.wgf.
for more information.
Thank you.
Have a great Mardi Gras.